Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm your host here at the Crafting Sparrow YouTube channel. Mostly here I do a monthly show and tell episode where I talk about all the things that I've been crafting for the month, and that's what we're here for today. I have, as usual, knitting, I've got crochet, and a little bit of cross stitch update on some cross stitch projects, or well, one cross stitch project. So if you are new here, welcome in. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I'm glad you're here to just catch up with me and hopefully get cozy and work on your own project, or just do whatever you find enjoyable. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll start with my first finished object. So my first finished object is the scarf that I talked about last month, and it is the Controcorrente scarf by Antonia Cavaliere. Sorry if the pronunciation is wrong. I have something tickling my nose. And this is finished. I have not blocked it because if you didn't see last episode, I have a new puppy, and blocking stuff is a little bit more of a challenge. So it has not been blocked, but to be fair, it's a scarf and it is spring here and I'm not really going to be using it, so I don't know when I'll block it, but it is finished. She's a very long scarf, which I'm ecstatic about when I can wear scarves when fall and wintertime comes around, because a long, just regular triangle scarf is just so cozy. I'll throw it on for you. Just to wrap around your neck once, or even it's long enough to wrap around twice, and just make it all voluptuous. And yeah. I'm really happy with how this scarf came out. I love the texture of the combination seed stitch, I believe, and just stockinette with this yarn, which is Knitpicks Upcycle Alpaca blend in the colorway Night Sky. This yarn has really good depth in even something as simple as stockinette and seed stitch. And it just looks just wonderful, and it is. It's a little bit, if you are itchy to alpaca, does have a bit of a bite to it, but I really enjoy the texture of alpaca, so I don't mind. Yeah. There she is. I'm really happy with it. I did a needle, the needle size I used is 4.5, and I went down, the recommended was a 5.5 millimeter. So that's no surprise here because I knit quite loose. I think I have an entire skein left over of this yarn. I don't know if I'm going to try and make a hat out of the leftover yarn, or who knows. I feel like I always have one skein extra for my projects, which is not a bad problem to have considering the alternative of having one too few. So I'm not mad about that. Not too much to talk about with this. I didn't do any alterations. I knit it exactly how the pattern called for. Pattern was great, easy to read, and easy to memorize the chevron, like transition pattern thing. And I mentioned last time, I didn't mention this time yet, it's a corner to corner pattern, so you're actually knitting on the bias, I think is the term that you use. So you're actually knitting this way, going from here up. From corner to corner, and decreasing at the beginning of every row, or I can't remember. It's been a while since I finished this project. I can't remember if it's decreasing at the beginning of every row or decreasing every other row. I don't remember. But basically you're decreasing throughout, and then until you get to the length that you want, and then you're increasing and then decreasing. If you know corner to corner work, you know what I'm talking about, and I'm probably explaining it terribly, but it's really cool. You get a rectangular piece of fabric by knitting diagonally. Yep. And I'm hoping once I block her, the crinkles and like the pulling in the fabric where the diagonal chevron pattern will block out. I'm sure she will. I'm sure it will look fabulous. It already does. So yeah, that is my scarf. Storing for winter time. I'm gonna put this over here. Pixel is laying down in the sunspot right over here, so don't want to throw it on the floor and have him get to it. Okay. Next up, we have my crocheted finished object, which is the Mishell top, which I am in love with. This took a lot less time than I thought it was gonna take. This is by Crochetreat, and yeah, it's a bottom-up crocheted top with buttons and everything. The pattern is the kind of pattern that doesn't give you specific stitch counts. It tells you, hey, go measure your most like favorite or however you want this to fit kind of similar t-shirt, and measure, you know, the width of it, the height of the from the underarm down, the neck measurements, everything, and it walks you through how to apply those measurements into like how to make that into stitch counts, and at what point you should do such and such to get the like armholes and the neck shaping and all that. It sounds really intimidating when you say it doesn't have stitch counts. I know I always feel kind of intimidated, but the way that this shirt is constructed, it's actually really easy. It's basically just a drop shoulder kind of construction, bottom up, you know, where you have the body and then you stop where the armholes are and then you do some neck shaping, but it's just like 2 panel, or I guess 3 panels, and then they all connect to the bottom for the body. Yeah, I made that sound probably more complicated than it actually was, but it's actually really inspiring. Here it is. She's a beaut, and I will put it on in a minute, but I'll talk you through the yarn and the sizes and stuff. I used new Arezzo from Hobbii. I talked about last time how this is my absolute favorite summertime yarn ever. It is a mixture of linen, bamboo, and cotton, I believe. I have an extra skein. Hold on. Actually, I have an extra skein of the other color that I used too. Yeah, so this is the yarn. And it is 33% linen, 47% bamboo, and 20% cotton. Yeah. So, wonderful yarn. Any kind of summer top that I know like is a good fingery weight pattern, I will go for new Arezzo. It's got a nice weight to it without being heavy, and it looks like it would split if you look at the way that it's constructed. But honestly, I didn't have a single time where my crochet hook went through a strand of yarn. I did not have any issues with it splitting with crochet. I think I remember when I knit the Kettle River cardigan with this color last summer, maybe it was like a small issue because I was using sharp metal needles, but with crochet, didn't have a problem. I made this with a, where's my hook size? A 3mm hook, and for the whole thing. And the sizing, like I said, there's not like a small, medium, large, extra large, whatever size. It's measuring a shirt that you like the fit to. And unless I did this wrong, unless I didn't update it, I made, okay, I didn't label, I just did XAB, like the size symbols that she told you to use for like the circumference of the shirt and the depth of the sleeves and stuff. I think that 24 is the straight from left to right of the top, and so the circumference was 48 inches. I think that's what I made. Honestly, don't remember if that actually changed because I measured a shirt that I really liked that was like super oversized, and then when I was casting on, I was having doubts on having enough yarn to make it that big. And I'm glad I did, because I don't think one extra skein would have been enough to compensate for this, the size that I wanted. And I would have had to order more yarn or rip it out and such. But so this is not as oversized as I was wanting it to be, but that's okay because I still like the way it fits. And then I had this sand colorway left over from the Kettle River cardigan, and actually I didn't even have to pull from this extra skein because I had a little stash, scrappy stash ball of it in my stash bucket. And so I just used that for like the contrast little color here. That was something that they used in one of the samples. I think it was the one in the pattern. It had like just like a different shade for the collar and the sleeves, and I love that. So I thought these colors went really good together, so I did that. And I also think that it pulls together the button color, because it's like light color and then the buttons are a little bit of that sandy light color as well. Yeah, and I guess that's all the nitty-gritty stuff. I'll try it on for you guys. This has not been blocked either, but I don't think I'm going to, because I feel like part of blocking for knitting is to make the stitches a lot more even, and I can't really tell if the stitches are uneven or not with this shirt. I don't know if it's the crochet like stitch pattern, or if it's just crochet in general. I feel like if it was just a bunch of single crochets, it would probably benefit from a block, but this is so airy that I don't think you can really even tell any tension inconsistencies. Yeah, here she is. I love it so much. I'll stand up for you. I think that it's a really good length, and because it goes like right over my hips, and so it's like a very standard size lengthwise. It's not cropped, it's not like overly long either. I absolutely love the way these sleeves fit. I love a good like baggy top of a sleeve, you know what I mean? Like that baggy t-shirt sleeve look. I'm a huge fan of that. There's just so much room there for my arms. And this collar detail is, I'm so obsessed with it. It's like fancy, but not really. It's the perfect juxtaposition of fancy casual, in my opinion. It just makes me so happy putting it on. And then for the buttons, I actually put a poll up on my Instagram for, I had this same button design, but like a smaller one and a bigger one. And I put a poll up on my Instagram, and definitely the big button won in the poll, but for some reason I just knew I wanted the small buttons. I don't even know why I put the poll up in the first place, because I think that I was leaning towards the small ones anyway. Whatever. So yeah, I put the small buttons on there. I think there's 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 6 buttons. And I can button it up all the way down, but what I prefer to do is just doing these middle 3 like this, and having this open and having this a little bit open as well. That's my preferred like closed look, and then you can like tuck it in if you want, or what. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm not a fashionista. I just like making my own clothes. Doesn't necessarily mean I style them the right way. Yeah, I like this. And like I said, I think I mentioned it, this pattern was really inspiring for me, because it wasn't a do this many stitches, start this at this row, you know, it's work until you've reached such and such inches and then start doing this part of the pattern. You could definitely just like pick any crochet, like lacy or not lacy pattern, and just make it in that instead. And I'm definitely going to be doing some like Pinterest searching for really cool lacy crochet stitch patterns, and just applying it to the same pattern and getting like a whole variety of summer tops. I do think that I want to buy some more new Arezzo and buy enough to make the size that I wanted originally, like the really big oversized one, because I just like oversized fit stuff. I am pleased with how this fits my body, but I think that if it was oversized like I originally wanted it to be, I would be inclined to wear it more. I'm still very pleased with this. I will still wear it quite a bit, I'm sure, this summer. But, you know, there's always something to make you want to make another one, right? And for me, I really do want that really big oversized look to it. But anyway, I really like this pattern. If you are into crochet tops, highly recommend. And yeah, that's that. That's my finished objects for this time. And we'll get into my works in progress. I'm going to keep this on because it's cute. Okay, so my first work in progress is a new one you haven't seen yet. It is I think you pronounce it Snieg? I don't know how to say it, but the pattern name and the designer will be on the screen below. It's by Terentyeva. And I didn't grab the yarn that I'm using. Hold on. So I'm using Hobbii's Deluxe Rainbow. It's their 8/4 Turkish cotton. And the color is color 3. It's just like a very creamy white color. And when I bought this yarn, I didn't really know which pattern I was going to use it for. I knew that I wanted to make a sweater or something like that. I really wanted a cotton sweater. I don't see a lot of people doing that. I think that there's a reason for that. Obviously, cotton tends to be harder on the hands. A lot of people don't like to just knit up with it. I don't mind the feeling of cotton, especially a nice soft cotton like this. It doesn't have as much of a stretch either, so that can be hard on people's hands while they're knitting. But like I said, I don't mind cotton, and I really like the feeling of a heavy fabric on my shoulders. I feel like it's a lot more cozy. Airy sweaters and such have their part. I definitely have a few like more airy sweaters that I really appreciate. But something about the idea of it being like a chilly morning this summer, or coming back in from the pool and it's like cold because the AC, and just throwing on a nice heavy cotton sweater, I just really liked that idea. So I bought enough yarn to basically be able to go on Ravelry and just pick whichever sweater I wanted. Honestly, I think I bought 20 balls of this because I knew I was going to have to hold it double. But it's a pretty good price point for each of these balls. I don't remember what it was, but I think that 20 balls ended up, I think it was like 50 something, and then that's including shipping and taxes and stuff. It's not too bad. So yeah, I had the yarn, and it's not very common for me to buy yarn before I know what pattern I'm using. So it was a little bit of a headache to look on Ravelry and then like a sweater pattern and then go, probably won't work out for that one. You know, it kind of eliminates some of the patterns that my eyes maybe were drawn to. So, but I did end up finding the Snieg, however you pronounce that, I'm sorry, which is just a basic stockinette sweater. And I thought that I was going to lean towards like a cable detail or something really squishy feeling. But what really caught my interest with the Snieg sweater is, first of all, it actually is supposed to be used with cotton yarn. It's a cotton wool blend, the recommended yarn for it, but the fact that it has cotton in it makes me feel a little bit more confident that it's going to turn out similar to what the pattern picture looks like. And the other thing that really drew my attention was the construction of the shoulder. It's a saddle shoulder, which I haven't done too many of those, but it's also a drop shoulder, and I don't know if that's like a common thing, like a common combination, But I think it's really interesting when you start the sweater with like these two panels that will fit over your shoulder, and then you work the back from that. And then you have stitches on hold right here while you're working the body and everything. And I guess, I haven't looked into the sleeves yet, but I guess when you pick up for sleeves on the body, you just have these extra stitches here and it kind of just like continuously goes down. I don't know. I'm excited. It's interesting. It's different than the sweater constructions I've been doing, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And let me show you my progress. So I have the top done. I'm working on the body right now. And usually I will stop working on the body once I finish a ball of yarn and work on the sleeves or the collar or whatever. But for some reason I really just was enjoying working stockinette with this cotton, and I just wanted to continue on the body. So that's what I'm doing. And I actually am going to switch off this Mishell shirt. And I'm going to put my needles on a, whatchamacallit, barber cord, whatever those are called. These things. And I will try it on for you guys so you can see what it looks like so far. It's so nice outside today. I have all my windows open. It is like, well, my computer says 67 outside right now, which is kind of crazy for South Carolina in the end of May. But I am not questioning it. I'm enjoying it. Okay, let's push some of these stitches on there. Okay. It is a afterthought collar, I guess you could call. It has a really thick, I think it's a 2x2 ribbing that'll go right here. But yeah, these are the saddle shoulders I was talking about. So I have these stitches on hold, and I'm assuming you pick up here, and then these just continuously go with what you picked up. I love the weight of this already, and I know it's gonna get heavier because you're gonna add more fabric, but it's not like super drapey like a bamboo or a alpaca yarn or whatever. It has a bit of like substance to the way it feels, and I really am a fan of that. So here is what I've got. And I believe that it goes down past hips, so probably like right here. With ribbing, and I'm pretty sure it has, I'm looking at a picture of it, I'm pretty sure it has a pretty thick ribbing at the bottom too, so probably finishing these, and then these two will get me for the rest of the body. And I still have 10 of them suckers in that plastic bag right there, so I should definitely be good. The sleeves are very straight. I think there's very minimal shaping in the sleeves, which I'm a fan of. I like a good oversized sleeve. I don't think I've ever made a tight fit sleeve. Maybe the Bonnie cardigan like years ago, but I never wear that. I just like loose sleeves. So yeah. It's got short row shaping to make the neck higher, and then it's also got some shaping for the front of the neck as well. Pretty standard for a good sweater. I like this detail here. I think it looks really cute. I'm so excited. It just feels so silly being excited about a plain white stockinette sweater, but here it is. Yeah, so I like this a lot, and it has been kind of a slow-ish knit. I would say it has been my like main knitting project right now. But I've started another one recently, and I'm going to show you in a second. And I've been having fun with that one too. As well as doing some more like video game playing and stuff. So it's in and out. I'm working on this right now, but I'm enjoying it, so that's what matters. All right, shove this back here in this bag. Okay, I'm gonna put my Mishell shirt back on because I love it. Okay, so my next work in progress for knitting is, like I was saying, something I've been having a lot of fun with. It's actually a yarn repurpose project, and I was gonna record a whole like project vlog repurpose yarn thing, and honestly I just wasn't feeling it, so I just figured I'd just throw it into one of my show and tell episodes. So I think it was like 3 years ago or so I made the Willow top by, I should have wrote this down, and my computer's right here, I'll look at it. It is this Bird Knits. I love that pattern. I actually have another shirt that I am not repurposing that I still really like. Fits me really good still. So I still have a Willow top in my wardrobe because I do like that pattern. That's not why I repurposed that project. I repurposed it because it was just way too big on me. My husband and I recently, well, I say recent, it was like November, December last year, decided to start counting our calories every day because we were both becoming unhappy with our health and our weight. So we decided to do that, and it's been really great, and we both have lost weight to be more confident in our bodies and feel a lot healthier. We're both in the healthy weight range now. And it has been really cool just seeing how much change can happen just from counting how many calories that you're intaking, because you don't really know how much you're eating until you count, and it's crazy thinking back about how much calories I intook before just because I wasn't conscious of it. But anyway, because of that, I have my body's changed a lot, and back then the Willow top that I made was a nice oversized fit, but nowadays I think that it's way too much fabric. I think also the yarn choice that I made was too flowy, and it just didn't, I don't know, I didn't like the combination of how it fits my body now and that yarn choice for that pattern. So I ripped it out, and I have the yarn that I ripped out was Knitpicks Lindy chain, I believe. Yes, and this is the colorway Conch. It's a beautiful color. Perfect summer yarn color. And I ended up with about 169 grams, not including this little extra ball of yarn. I had two cakes like this that were about 169 grams, and that equals out to be 608 yards or so of this yarn. And I did a lot of Ravelry searching for what I could use with this. I landed on a few, and then I decided better not. I don't know if I have enough yarn. I don't know if I like the fit with this combination of yarn, and that defeats the whole purpose if I don't like this yarn for that pattern. Anyway, I ended up landing on a pattern that I already had, which is great because this makes it a like no cost project because I already have the yarn and I already have the pattern. And I landed on the tin roof top from Yamagara, and I made this shirt a couple years ago with some Yarn Bee yarn from Hobby Lobby, and I never really wear it because the color choices aren't really my palette of things to wear, and also it's a t-shirt made out of wool, and I don't think that's very practical, especially here in South Carolina. So I just never wear it. I'll probably end up repurposing that project as well. But it was really fun to make. So hopefully I'll have fun making it again, and I'll actually get to wear the thing that I made. Because this is linen. This is a linen yarn. So better, more practical for a shirt. Yeah, so, and I'm making the size 2. The way that the shirt is constructed, it's actually made in panels where you're doing the left front and back and sleeve, the right front and back and sleeve, and then you pick up stitches and you do like the bottom and knit down. I thought about, because I don't have enough yarn to knit that whole section in the bottom. I'm okay with this being a little bit cropped. So that's not an issue if I don't do any of the bottom. But I did think about adding a couple stitches to the, like I said, you do the sleeve and then you're adding stitches to get to the body down, and then you're knitting back and forth this way. So I thought about adding more stitches to get more length down, but then I was concerned that I wouldn't have enough yarn to finish the top pieces. So what I'm going to do instead is hopefully have enough to do at least a couple rows of ribbing on the bottom. If I have to break into this little ball of yarn, I will. It's not ideal because this is a collection of a lot of short pieces of yarn, so I'd have to do a lot of tying off and weaving in those ends and stuff. But if I have to, I have to. And honestly, I also thought about maybe even like using this for the ribbing, because these are really pretty together too. Who knows? It's a scrappy repurpose project, so anything goes pretty much. Yeah, so what I have done so far, and I'm using a 3.25 millimeter needle, and I'm in the middle of a row. So there's that. But basically, this is the... Why didn't I finish? Here, let me get through this row, and then I will show you where I'm at on it. I'm using the bamboo, the Takumi Clover bamboo needles, which I have not used in a really long time. I've been really hooked on my Chaigu metal needles. I've been really enjoying those, but I use these for 2 reasons. One was my cables are being used up right now for the Snieg sweater, and the second reason is I honestly just was curious how I would feel about using bamboo needles again, and I think that summer yarns is a good like material to use them with. I think that's, you know, the bamboo needles are really light, and they have a good way of, they have a good like sliding, it's like a little bit of resistance, which can be good for plant yarns because they're a little bit more slippery. They're not as toothy as a, say, wool yarn. So I thought it was a good opportunity to see how I felt about my bamboo needles again after not using them for so long. And I really like them. I think that they're just a little bit different, you know. The tips of them aren't nearly as sharp. So, and I'm somebody who is going to push off on the needle with my finger, and that's something that I do have issues with sometimes with the Chaigu metal needles, is sometimes they hurt the tip of my index finger when I push the stitches up. And I don't have that issue with this, which is really nice. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about these needles is they are the type that will unscrew by themselves as you knit. And so sometimes you have to go in and tighten your interchangeable needles onto the cable. But I have never had them completely fall off the cables before. Usually I hear like a little clicking or a little bit of like rattling while I'm knitting, and that tells me that I need to tighten them. And yeah, it's just kind of a mild inconvenience. It's not something that makes me go, I'm not using those again, you know? So yeah, I do recommend the Takumi Clover bamboo interchangeable set. It was my first set that I bought when I started knitting. You know, you can just pick a needle size and not have to buy a whole set, which can be pretty expensive And that's kind of a bummer when you're just starting out in a hobby, just dumping a bunch of money into something and then you don't even know if you're going to like it. So these are nice for that because they're fairly cheap. I think one needle set is maybe like $5. And then of course you have to buy the cables, but those are also not that expensive. And then you can just slowly add to your collection if you do find that you like to knit. And that's what I did. I just eventually got different sizes, and you know, Christmas rolls around and I'm like, I asked, you know, family members if they wanted to know what I wanted. I would say, hey, I don't have this needle size yet, so that'd be great. So anyway, I really like Takumi Clover anyway for a lot of reasons. I think they have really good products for a lot of crafting stuff. So yeah. All right, so this is what I have so far. Like I said, this is the sleeve and it's knit flat, so I do have to seam that together, but it's a tiny little bit. It's not that bad. So here's your sleeve, and then this is the body. And this will block out to stretch a little bit, so I know it looks kind of tiny, but if I do this, you can kind of get an idea. I think it goes down a little bit more. And so you have your sleeve connects here, and then it goes down to about here. And then hopefully, like I said, I'll have enough yarn to do like a small thing of ribbing, and it will be very cropped, but like I said, I'm okay with that. And then it has this really cool faux cable detail. And I think the next step is to do the rest of the panel doing decreases to get like a neckline, and then you'll stop in the middle, and then you'll do the same thing for the other side. And you do this really cool like Russian crochet join. I don't know, you keep the, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I made this, you keep the stitches live on the front and the back, and you kind of crochet graft them together going down. It looks really cool, it's really easy, and it's a heck of a lot better than seaming with a darning needle and stuff, which you do have to do for the side panels here, but it's not that much. It's not bad. Yeah, I really like this pattern. I think it's interesting, it's different, and it's really versatile for yarn. It can be a scrappy project because the project is actually recommended for doing like stripes up and down and changing up the colors a bunch, which is what I did for my first one. I just didn't like my color choices at the end of the day. It's whatever. Yeah, really enjoying this one. So I'm hoping that the front panel will, all I have to do is break into this from the front panel, and then this is roughly the same amount of yarn, and I can just use this for the other panel, and maybe have some left over to do, like, hopefully, I'm hoping for like 5 rows of ribbing. We'll see. Yeah. So that is my last work in progress for knitting. And I do have an update on my cross stitch project. So this is a sampler by, I think it's hold on, I wrote it down. DailyPatternPost on Etsy. It is a monochrome sampler. I think last time I showed it to you, I had just started the tail on the dragon, and I've done not that much because I've been kind of focused on knitting again, but yeah. So here's the tail, and this will go like in a circle here, and this starts his like body. It's kind of like a rib cage. Yeah, I worked on this a little bit on the car, in the car, when I went to the beach last weekend. So I didn't get much done because I had Pixel in my lap, so I couldn't do too much. Usually I would have done a bunch of knitting or something on a long road trip, but when you have a dog in your lap, it's kind of hard, especially when it's a puppy who wants to get into everything. So yeah, and I think last time, I'll mention again just in case you didn't see the last episode, I'm using DMC floss. I think this is the color 608, I believe. No, 823, my bad. Yeah. So that's my cross stitch. And then I have worked some more on my Starflower blanket by Tin Can Knits. This is a long-term project. If you're new here, it's basically just knitting a bunch of lacy hexagons and then you seam them all together. I think since the last time I've done 5 of them and attached them. Yeah, so, but I show it every time. I'll just go grab it and show it to you if you're new. This is it. But it's kind of hard to tell what I have, what I've added since last time, so, but she's a beauty. This is still my favorite color. Yep. And this is with Knitpicks palette, and I'm using one of their sampler boxes that has 50 different colors. So squishy and soft. Oh, it smells like my wool wash. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to just snuggle up with this. Okay, well, my friends, that is it on what I've been crafting for this month. I went to a Ren fair and I went to the beach since last time I talked to you. Usually I think last time I went to a Ren fair I actually handmade a lot of the stuff that I was wearing, so like the corsets and stuff, but honestly I just thrifted a bunch of stuff, so I'll just say that it was fun. The Georgia Ren fair is really cool. It's a lot bigger than the Carolina one in my opinion, but the jousting wasn't as cool, but on the other hand the turkey legs were a lot better apparently. I didn't eat them, but my friends ate them and they said that it was a lot better than the Carolina Ren fair was. So some pros and some cons. And if you want to see the puppy again, he just is stirring, so it's a good time to pick him up. He's grown so much. So if you're new here, this is Pixel. He's almost 4 months old now. He's a little sweet boy. He likes to chew on my hair. Yeah, I loves him. He's such a good dog. And we had to get him a new collar. He finally grew out of his puppy collar, but this one should last him a good long while. So, yeah. The poor baby went to the vet a couple weeks ago to get more of his vaccines, and he actually had an allergic reaction to one of them, and I had to rush him back to let them give him some antihistamines, and just to make sure that he was not going to have a worse reaction. But he ended up being okay. He still is trying to recover from the rabies shot too, because he got a lot of vaccines that day, and I think that the rabies shot just kind of like knocked him on his feet, just to add insult to injury. But he's doing much better now, and soon he will be able to go out to dog parks and play with other dogs and be safe. So yeah, he's getting so big, aren't you, buddy? Okay, I'm chewing on my hair. Well, that is it for this episode. Thanks for sticking around, and I hope that whatever you're working on, it is bringing you joy, and I will see you guys in the next month's episode. So take care. See you later. Bye.